them to be like that. And he goes through the list of all the things that they're supposed to have mastered in. And then here
Mm-hmm.
comes these guys, and obviously they're intelligent and they have mastery in something, and they make a request about diet.
Yes.
And whatever you
What's
know about their diet, what's your as a chef, because you
yeah,
do
as
more
a
than
chef,
pastries. Yeah. So they talk
yeah.
about diet
Well, I
and
I
in
still
terms
cook.
of their
I'm
faith.
still a chef.
Go
I
ahead.
still cook. So like
Mm,
first of all, what you put in is what you're going to get out with your body. Okay?
okay.
So if you're putting in the best of the best, the healthy, then your body is going to give you that back. So these four men, the king felt like he was giving them, he wanted the elite people, he wanted the best of the best to be by his side, and he also wanted them to have the best foods, what he considered the best foods were. And we're talking steak and ox and all that stuff. And the reality of it is, it's good food, it's good, it's expensive, but it's not what your body needs to be able to function clearly. So I think a good diet helps you keep your mind right, you know. um, what you eat helps with your brain development. So if you're putting in the correct types of proteins and the correct types of vitamins, then your body is going to function in a certain way. And so I'm thinking these four men, they wanted to be able to clearly hear and know what God's will is. And in order to do that, they had to make sure that their brain was functioning the way it needs to. To do that, you've got to eat your vegetables, you've got to eat your nuts and your berries, because these are things that are good for your brain, the function of your body. So they rejected eating those meats. And that was wise of them, because they knew that they had to be ready when God called on them.
Right. And also to add to that, part of their understanding of God at that particular time is that they also, it was part of their faith. They weren't supposed to eat certain types of
Eat
meat,
certain foods.
especially.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Orthodox Jews and the Messianic Jews of today, they will make sure that their meat is kosher,
Yes.
absolutely no blood. So it was part of also their faith walk.
Faith, their
And
religion cultures. Yes.
right,
The religious
and,
cultures. Yes.
right. So this is what they understood. Um, it says God blesses them, but He definitely blesses Daniel with the ability to uh interpret dreams. He receives dreams and visions and interprets them.
Yes.
Did you see that part at the end of chapter one? Probably didn't. How did you see how long Daniel served for in the Babylonian Empire? Did you see how long he served?
I don't remember how long. How many years?
Okay, no problem. It's not a problem. He served until Cyrus. So way into the Medes and Persians, that's where he
Mm,
served. So it wasn't just the
long
Babylonian
time.
Empire. He did the
Mm-mm.
empire until the end of the empire. Um, did you have any chance to look at two?
Yeah.
Did you see how that went down?
Yep.
Okay, so we have a situation. We have a situation where something bad happens, and King Nebuchadnezzar can't remember what bad happens. Do you remember that situation?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you view him in terms of, you critiqued him already, but
Yeah.
how do you view him in, I guess, from that point to the image, in
So
terms
what
of his,
puzzled
as
what
he deals
puzzled
with his ministers? Go
yeah,
ahead.
what puzzled me was these are the same people who you praised initially in the other chapter for helping you, and you gave them authority over things, and then at the same time, because they won't do exactly what you want them to do, they won't break their faith, you turn on them and you try to kill them or anyone else who doesn't follow through the way you want things to be followed through. I really found that puzzling with him.
I think another thing I found puzzling with him, and if we're talking about his characteristics, his character,
Mm-hmm.
he was quick to get angry, quick to fly off the handle, quick. If I didn't get what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted
That's
immediately,
it. Yeah.
there are problems and repercussions. You know,
Yeah.
you know, there's gonna be a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Um,
He's very intimidating. Very intimidating. What do you do when you're sitting there trying to worship your God, and then this king comes and says, if you don't stop worshiping your God, I'm going to set you on fire. You've got to have strong enough faith to say, whew, well, I'm either going to be set on fire or God's going to save me. But how many people have faith that strong? And he knew that. He was very intimidating and very demanding.
yeah, when both when and I know that's the fiery furnace, but the in chapter two there was a situation where they had to get the dream and
Oh,
get
they
the
had to know the dream.
interpretation of it.
Yeah, they had to
Right.
interpret it. He didn't
I,
even
I,
tell them the dream. They had to know the dream.
right, 'cause he couldn't remember it. It was
Yeah,
gone from him. He couldn't remember it, and he wanted them to do
he
that.
wanted someone to tell
Um,
him and remind him of it. Yes.
how should people view Daniel's actions? Because Daniel did several things within that whole time frame that to me is indicative of how we should behave as human beings, those who believe in Almighty God.
Hmm.
What was his? If you can you recall what he did
He he
in
helped
terms
him.
of right? But what? How did he
He
go
was
about it?
patient with him. He was
Hmm.
patient with him, which most people wouldn't be. He if I'm remembering correctly, he was patient with him. He asked him he
What? Right? Why
why the
was he
king
so quick?
why the
Why
king
was
was
he
so
so quick
quickly.
to right? He was talking to
Yeah.
the Ariak, I think that was his name,
Yeah,
probably for the
he was
guards.
he was going to kill all of them because they did not did not know how to tell him what his stuff was. And he was like, why would you do that? I'm going to help you. He could have easily said, I know this, but I'm not going to help you. But he
Hmm.
told him he's going to help him. He interpreted it.
Right.
He didn't ask of anything when he
Hmm.
interpreted it. And he could have said, before I interpret it, I want you to place me here, give me all these things, you know. um
And so basically, he also gave the glory and honor to God for the information that
Absolutely.
was given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told him initially, "Look, this is where it's coming from. It's not from me. This is
Hmm.
what God has sent me to tell you."
Yeah. No. Do you recall the the image and as someone that studied biology, because I didn't put that in your reference, but you did study biology, even if it was on a
Yeah.
small level. Did you recognize the
The
image?
statue, the
Yeah, the
statue,
image. Yeah,
the
not
image.
not not
Yeah.
not the one in chapter three. The
Not
one
in his
in his
dream.
dream. The one in
In
his
his
dream.
dream,
Yeah.
where it was like where I think at the bottom it was a mixture of,
Right.
it was like sand, not sand, but
But clay.
it was steel and sand mixed
eh,
together. It was like it wasn't a strong enough foundation. I know from the top it was strong, and then it got weaker and weaker as it went down to the bottom.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It started off with gold, and
Gold,
from
yeah.
gold it went to silver. From silver
Silver,
it went
yeah.
to bronze, and from bronze to iron. The whole thighs and legs, all the way down to the ankles. About the ankles where it switches.
Yeah, and
Um.
it was saying that as the generation, like he has a strong foundation right now, but as the generations dwindle, it's going to get weaker and weaker until the whole empire might crumble.
Right.
Because yeah.
Right. So in that particular thing, Nebuchadnezzar is told that he is also the head of gold. So
Mhm. He
you
was
know
that
that
top.
that
Yeah.
Right. Then that's how you have Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 3 talking about, hey, I have a whole image of gold,
Hmm.
versus just a head, kind of like you said, defiant. You see
Yeah.
all the things. You didn't remember the dream, and here you got the dream and the interpretation.
Yeah.
And so he listens to somebody, either to himself or to somebody, and they convince him he needs to build
Make
that
up.
image. But
Yeah.
yeah, that first part of the image, that golden head, was the Babylonian Empire. And I encourage you to check out the sequence of
Each one.
uh yeah, the sequences
Okay.
later. But
I have to.
I have not been paying attention to the time. I just want to let you know, too
Oh, I'm
much,
sorry.
too much.
Okay.
No, 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 too much fun. Um, li- uh, I have what are your this is the final question. I
Okay.
don't know how
Okay.
long we've been going,
It's
but
okay.
this
It's okay.
I should have had a timer, but I don't. Um, when you're looking at what okay, second to last question, because I really want to ask this one. What are your
Uh-huh.
impressions of the Hebrew boys in terms of their, I guess,
How
their
they were raised.
understanding? Well, like, what are your impressions of the Hebrew boys? Let me leave it like that. You go ahead.
Okay, so like they didn't allow the judgments of others to get in their way.
Hmm.
They had to have had a strong structure or upbringing because they carried it through in their values. They didn't falter. They
Hmm.
continued their relationship with God, and they stuck with what they were taught in their religion. They still ate the way they were supposed to, although everybody else around them, they were disciplined. They were very disciplined. They all the people around them were doing other things, and they stuck with what they were supposed to do so that they can make it through. They kept their faith in God. Um, they just didn't falter. They kept. I think that they really were strong in their religion. They were strong in their faith, and that had a lot to do with probably how they were raised.
So let's tie it in. You're a teacher. You're a
Yes,
scholar.
yes.
We have drama problems from the time we wake up to the time we come home to go to sleep. In your community, doesn't matter what state or country you're from, you have
No,
something that you have to
something's
deal with
always going on. Yeah.
on some level. What's ne- what is the mindset, or what does someone have to do to maybe,
Function throughout the day.
yeah, let's go with function. What does someone have to do based on all this information? What would be your recommendation if you're talking to somebody and you say, listen, I read chapters 1 to chapter 4 about Daniel, and here is why my son, my daughter, my niece, nephew, whatever, my neighbor, here's why you should do such and such and such. What are your takeaways that you can give somebody else and say, hey, this will aid you when things get the worst?
So for me, I would, for me, I wake up every morning and I kind of wake up 5 minutes early so that I can always do devotion. If I start my day with a 5 minute devotion, it doesn't have to take forever. But if I start my day with a 5 minute devotion, it puts me at peace. It helps me go so that, because I know I'm going to hit somewhere in the road where somebody's going to make me want to just take a pause. But then what started me off with my day carries me through my day. Um, I try not to allow what's going on around me alter the values and the faith that I have in God. Sometimes I got to pray a little harder. Sometimes I have to walk away so I don't say or do the things that I want to do. You got to be smarter and wiser, and you got to have enough faith to carry you through each day. But definitely, I do devotion every morning for about 5 minutes, and I say a little prayer throughout my day.
And, And I'm going to piggyback off of what you said as we are closing out. Um, that I think is key. I don't. I like to start my day before my spouse. I like to start my day before anything else by having my own private devotions. It's necessary for your overall. Even to stop in the middle of the day or to pray as you're walking, as you're driving, as you're moving. Nothing wrong with that. I will take it a step further. Sometimes if you are in problems, because these guys were in a problem,
Yeah.
they were going to die. And sometimes you need multiple people praying about the same
Praying
thing.
for you. Yes.
And Daniel went from, hey, we're all going to die. Hey, this is the matter. This is what's going on. We need to pray and ask God to answer this prayer. Um, when you have multiple people talking to God about the same problem, it doesn't mean that we twist his arm. It just
No,
means that there are more people focused on talking about this problem. And the Bible shows us many places where when groups of people came together to pray about a situation,
it was a
you could
stronger.
it
Yeah.
was a better result. And I
Better
think
result.
that at your workplace things will change. Sometimes, especially here in Alabama, Huntsville, there are people that have contracts and they got to get it done in a timely manner. Across the United States, you have children who go to school and you don't know if they're going to come back home. You
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen when your loved one goes out to work, if they're going to make it back. The situations of your community. But you don't have to be if something in the community bothers you, at work bothers you, find you somebody. This is my opinion. Find you somebody
Praying
who,
party.
let's call it a praying partner or a believing partner, because
Yeah.
sometimes I think we take it too far where because you're Methodist, I'm not going to pray with you, or
Oh
because you're
yeah.
Baptist, I'm not going to pray with you. We need this message sent to the same God. Let's not get
Yes.
caught up with the
With the
doctrinal
different.
side of it.
Yeah.
Let's just pray because there is a
Pray.
problem. You
Yes.
understand? And see what God does, because the two of us, three of us, four of us, five of us got together and prayed about the same situation. And I am not going to say anything more. I am thankful that you were able to come
Thank you
on
for
the
having me.
Signalman podcast. And by the way, a signalman is found on a Navy vessel. They're found on the rail yards, in the Army. In the rail yards, the flags meant something, so they will send you a message, let you know, hey, you're going too fast. Your wings, you're not at the right level to land on the carrier. So the point is to point in a direction, like a lighthouse,
I like
like
how.
lower lights. All right.
Yes.
And so before we close, I will allow you, because you can do it a lot quicker than me, to tell the audience where they can reach you at. I know it's something on Facebook.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
butcher it. Go ahead. Yeah.
You can catch me on Instagram or Facebook at Fleming Simply Divine Sweets. Um, you can also go to www.flemingsimplydivine.com and you can find my website. Um, that's about
That's
it.
about it.
That's about
Okay.
it. They're both the same thing. They're both the same tag. I'm also on TikTok, Fleming Simply Divine Sweets as well.
Okay. So before we leave, I always like to end uh it like this. At least I'm trying to end it like this all the time. All right. It says, "Now the God of peace that brought again from the dead our Lord Jesus Christ, the great shepherd of sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant, make you, everybody listening, perfect in every good work to do his will, working in you that which is pleasing in his sight, like the Hebrew boys did, through Jesus Christ, to whom be all glory forever and ever. Amen." Thanks again for watching. See you next time.